Alright, hey guys, this is April 3rd, Friday for Algebra 1. So we've made it through a week here. So I hope you all are doing well at home and with everything else going on. So this is going to be off this quiz over section 1 and section 3. So what we're going to do really quick is I'm just going to go through and do a quick review, and then you can just take the quiz, use your notes, use your book, anything you have to kind of help it, kind of like a worksheet type deal. And so for this, what I did was, we'll start over here. The first thing you need to know is the different types of bar graphs. And so if it's just a typical bar graph, this is just a bar graph here. So it's just the bar graph as the bar graph, no big deal there. Now the second type of bar graph they gave you is called a segmented bar graph. A segmented bar graph is where you have basically different categories within one bar. And so here, notice they gave us this right here. They said that the 6th grade is going to have a shaded in box, the 7th grade is going to have a lined box, and then the 8th grade is going to have a blank box. Now, so that is called the legend, by the way. This is a legend. So a legend. Now, what we also need it to know is basically be able to look at the segmented bar graph and pull information out. So, for example, on Monday, if I were to ask you on Monday, how many 6th graders chose their favorite day was Monday? How many 6th graders did that? Well, I would look at the segmented bar graph for Monday. I would look at that bar and count how far it went up, how many would have the shaded in portion. Well, that goes up to 5. So on Monday, there was 5 6th graders that chose it for its favorite day, their favorite day. So if I were to ask you to give me the 7th graders that wanted to say that Monday was their favorite day, you would count the range for the segmented side. And so obviously the segmented side starts here at 5 and goes to 15. So you want to know that range. Range is the biggest minus the smallest. So you basically take where it ends and subtract off the bottom part. So it goes all the way up to 15, the cross one, and it started at 5, so it's just 15 minus 5 gives you 10. So that's a range of 10 for the 7th graders, was the one with the lines through it. And so there would be 10 7th graders on Monday here. Okay? And then obviously for the 8th graders are just the blank, and so it would go from 15 to 25, which would also be a range of 10. And so there would be 10 for the 8th graders as well. And so that's what you're basically going to do. You're going to pull that information out. So if I wanted to know how many people in total, 6th, 7th, and 8th, chose Wednesday, then you would look at Wednesday and you would just see how many total chose it. So that would include 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it would just be how high the bar graph actually is. And so it goes all the way up to 20. So I know 20 kids chose Wednesday. Okay? Now, they may ask you what was the most popular day for, say, 6th grade. So what was the most popular day for 6th grade? Well, you would look at the shaded in portion for 6th grade and choose which one was the highest for that. And so if the 6th grade had 5 here, the shaded in portion, the shaded in portion goes up to 10 for Tuesday. For Wednesday, it's 5. For Thursday, it's none. Nobody chose it from 6th grade on Thursday. And then on Friday, it goes all the way up to 15. And so that would tell you that for Friday, was the most popular day, because 15 chose it on Friday, 6th graders did, so that's your most popular. And so that's going to be how you go through those. If it wants to know, say, for example, how many more kids in total chose Wednesday as their favorite day than Thursday, then you would count the total for Wednesday. So there's 20 for Wednesday, and then there were 10 for Thursday. So 20 minus 10 would be a difference of 10. So that tells me that 10 more chose Wednesday than Thursday. So if you want to know the actual number, that's how you would do it. Now, another option you have here is percent of change. And so percent of change is always the final minus the original times 10. So the final minus the original times 10. Okay? So if I wanted to know the difference from say Wednesday to Thursday, I'm going to do the final minus the original times 10. So if there were 10 on Thursday, like we said, So that's the final. And then the original was Wednesday. What's the percentage change? That'd be 20. So that's the final. I mean the original divided by 20 times 100. So it's always the final thing you're looking at minus the original divided by the original times 100. And so you would do 10 for Thursday, 20 had Wednesday, so you do the final, which was 10, minus the 20, which was Wednesday, divided by 20, and then multiply times 100. So 10 minus 20 is a negative 10. So negative 10 divided by 20 would be a negative 1/2, and then times 100 would be basically just, or you could do it 0.5 basically times 100. Negative 0.5 times 100 would give you 50%. And so it would be a negative 50% change from Wednesday to Thursday. In other words, it went down 50% from where it started. And so that's how you do it. It's always final minus original divided by original times 100. The times 100 just turns it to a percent. And so that is your percent of change. And so that'll get you through basically the first section of the quiz. The second section of the quiz deals with our stem leaf plot. And so our stem leaf plot, you can remember that the stem represents the classes. So it'd be 7, 8, 9, 10 would represent like your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, your 10s, your 100s. And so if these were test scores, basically if I wanted to know how many kids took the test, scored on the test, you would count up all the numbers in the leaf, and that would tell you how many there actually were. So notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that means there's 15 total tests that were scored, 15 total students. Okay, so we have 15 as our total. If they wanted to know, okay, let's say what number would this underlined one be right there? The underlining that 5. What number would that actually represent? Remember, it's not really just a 5 because you got to take the class too. So you always read it as far as the stem and then the leaf. So that would be 85. So 85 would be the one underlined right there, 85. You always read it like 72, 72, 75, 78. Then you would read it 86, 85, and then 85. And so it's always the stem as far as your 70, 80, 90, 100 part, and then with the leaf added on. And so that would be how you do that. This is called quantitative type of data. So if you were to ask what type of data, this is quantitative because it actually gives you the information. You can actually see the data. Qualitative is just basically telling you the quality of it. So that would be more of like our histograms that we cover and stuff like that. So there's that. The last thing you may need to know here is just how many is in each class. And so if I ask how many people were in the class of 10s or the class of 100s, well, there's 2 zeros, which means there's 2 people in that class that scored 100. So there would be 2 people. If I want to know the class of 90, how many people were in that class of 90, you would count it up as 1, 2, 3, 4. So there were 4 people in that class of 90. And so that should help y'all get the quiz started. And so today's lesson is just pretty much take the quiz. And so if you have any questions on anything, make sure you're getting up with me. And so that'll basically get us through to the weekend. So if you have a good weekend, do well in the quiz.